kid N'Keal Harry made his first 2 catches last week, so it's going to take him time to get used to Tom. We have no tight ends out, none of them that we have Ben Watson, but that's no Gronkowski.
But he's old.
And our running game has not been great with White and Sony Michel this year. So do you agree with that? Do you think that they can get it done offensively?
They'll be fine.
I'm not a panic button either. To my
they've been predicting the death of the Empire since 2001.
Yeah.
And until somebody comes into Foxborough in January and puts it on them, you are the bet.
Well, we're the champ until the champ gets knocked down, until the champ gets beat. So only team that scares me is Baltimore. Other than that, I'm not sure anybody else in the game. That's just me.
I'm not even scared of Baltimore. Baltimore is a team that's winning because they're unique.
Right.
They're to me, I look at Baltimore like I looked at the 09 or 08. I want to say it was the 09 Dolphins.
Okay.
And with that Wildcat, where it took the league by storm, and everybody was like, "Oh, this is the way of the future," and bringing in running backs to run the ball, to throw and to run out of the quarterback spot, and it was all razzle dazzle, and that's what I'm seeing is a lot of razzle dazzle from the Ravens, and it looks really good right now in the regular season. In the regular season, it looks really, really good because you can razzle dazzle, and you can run around people, and you can run away from people. But what happens when that goes away? I'm not convinced that Lamar Jackson can throw the ball 40 times a game. And if you take Mark Ingram away, and excuse me, and you take away the running, you take away that running game, and you take away Lamar Jackson's running lanes, that's been a big problem. Is that there have been too many running lanes, and if you can minimize the running lanes, and you don't over pursue the play, and you downfill, you backfill, and you keep contained, and you stay home, you'll be fine. To me, it's just razzle dazzle.
Well,
it's impressive. It's fun to watch, but
I also think, too, Bill Belichick's too intelligent of a coach not to have a better game plan ready to go. I think he's seen the film. I think he's going to do exactly what you just said. He'll fill those gaps where it's just gap control or gap coverage. He'll tell his guys, stay home, fill your gap. We'll have no problem because outside of that running game, they do have the kid out of Oklahoma, Hollywood Brown at wide receiver, but they're not really. Like you said, I don't really know if he can pass. Like you said, Lamar Jackson could pass 40, 50 times a game. We haven't seen that because he hasn't had to do that because no one's been able to stop the run outside of the Cleveland Browns, and I forget who else they lost to. I think the Saints, whoever else they lost to this season. Other than them, they've been able to slow that down enough to where they can win. I think our defense is good enough to where it kind of reminds me a lot of the Indianapolis Colts when Peyton Manning was the quarterback. All the offense had to do was score 40 points. They may let the opponent score 35, but if Peyton could get them down there and they could score 40 points, they could win the game. This is a vice versa situation where the defense can stop them enough to score, keep them under 20. Tommy can go out there and get us 24. We win the game. And that's what it comes down to in the end is, and defense wins championships anyway. We all know that. When it comes, no matter what sport you play, whether it's football, it's basketball, baseball, it's defense and pitching, and hockey, it's your goaltender. It just depends on who. It comes down to defense winning championships. And since the Patriots have
defense wins.
number one rated defense in the league, I don't think we have too much to worry about.
No, I don't. I'm not worried. It comes down to defense and coaching. And until And so I'm not convinced that, though. Again, they talk about the death of the empire, and this is the year they're done, they're over, it's over, forget it,
Right.
and we'll see. San Francisco plays Baltimore on this Sunday in Baltimore. I don't know, the weather could be nasty. It's Baltimore. It could be rainy. It could be, it's probably going to be cold, and it could be rainy and windy, and we'll see. And that's going to be a big yardstick for both teams. For both San Francisco and Baltimore. Because, San Francisco they just absolutely handed Green Bay their asses. It was ugly. It was ugly early. It got ugly early, and it stayed ugly all game. And, every comment that's thrown about the Patriots, well, they haven't played anybody. Who'd they beat? Who'd they play? You can say the same thing about Baltimore. Outside of New England, who have they beat? Oh, they beat Seattle. Oh, okay. Yeah, so Seattle beat, Baltimore beat Seattle, who beat Cleveland, who beat Baltimore. I mean, and that's why I really don't put any.
Seattle beat San Francisco.
Right. Who beat San Francisco? And then if San Francisco beats Baltimore, and then where you are? Then where are we at? Everybody's got San Francisco and Baltimore going into the Super Bowl, and we're only in week 12. We just started week 13.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too. I've been hearing a lot that's who the real prediction is going to be, is Baltimore and San Francisco. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I love how they doubt.
Right?
Everyone's writing them off.
You're too old.
What's happened?
They don't have any.
What's happened in the past? We've been written off. We win the Super Bowl.
They don't have any. They don't have any skill players. They're too old. They're too slow. They can't. And yet, when they hoist their seventh, what are you gonna say?
Yeah.
When they have seven, when they have 7, 8, 9, when Brady's 50 and he's still flinging the ball around for 300 yards.
Yeah, I could see. I relatively could see 7, 8 before they hang it all up. In all reality,
yeah, definitely.
And I, you know what? I may be one of the few Patriot fans who actually likes Jarrett Stidham. I got to see him. We're in SEC country. You live in Tennessee. We're in SEC country. Mm-hmm. And I got to see Jarrett play at Auburn, so I know what we got out of him. And I'm not saying that Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't have done the same thing had he stayed and not gone to San Francisco. I think with him, he inherited a very nice opportunity with Kyle Shanahan being the head coach, and that offense that they run out there in San Francisco. I think their defense has been solid all year too. But, I like Jarrett Stidham. I really do. I think he might be the heir apparent to when Tommy decides, okay, I've had enough. I'm not doing this no more. I don't think that it's this year. I don't think Tommy would want to end his career on a season like what he's having. I think he'll go one more year, even if they win or not this year. I think he goes one more year and says, you know what? I want to have a better final year if this will be my final year, with him. We, as Patriot fans, we're all wondering to ourselves, when is it going to be the end? We all know it's going to come to an end one day. We all know that. And it's going to be one of those, you'll find out, as we both know, no matter what happens, we'll always be Pats fans. So we'll find out who the true fans are when Tommy and Bill hang it up and they both walk away. Then we'll see who the true Patriot fans really are, because a lot of them, and being down here in Florida, Boston is hated because the Rays fans hate Boston Red Sox fans. The white fans, and I can say this, we hate Boston Bruins fans. I can't stand the Boston Bruins. So we all, they hate the Boston franchises because of the baseball and football. So down here, it's the same way. Even though the Bucks don't play the Patriots that often, we don't play each other that often. The last time they played was around my birthday a couple of years ago. But they don't play each other that often because it's a rotation with the AFC East. I know one time they were supposed to play each other. They played in London, and the Patriots killed the Bucks. So it
Right.
was those things where, am I going to get an opportunity to maybe see Tom Brady come back to Raymond James Stadium before he retires? I don't know. That I don't
Yeah.
know. I'd have to wait and see if he plays 4 more years. There's a
Right.
possibility that they come back here. Or I would have to get on a plane and fly up to Foxborough to see them play the Bucks, which I wouldn't mind doing either way. But to me,
And
like I'm
we're
not worried.
also we're also operating under the assumption that Tom's going to retire at some point.
Yeah, yeah, that's again.
Yeah,
It's going to come down to
they've been saying that he's going to have to retire next year for 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I think
it's going to come up to
I
him.
think he'll
Yeah.
he'll be 51 playing, throwing the ball to Phillip Rivers Jr.
Yeah. Well,
And they keep trying to find, they've been, first it was first it was Brissett. Brissett was, no, actually, it was going all the way back to 2008, and they had already started talking about, well, who do we, going, you have to understand the heir apparent. You have to understand Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers.
right.
If it hadn't been for the fact that Aaron Rodgers flipped to 24 and went to Green Bay, there would be none of this talk about heir apparent, because Green Bay got so lucky that they had another world-class quarterback coming in off the bench to take Brett Favre's spot.
Right.
Had Aaron Rodgers gone number one to San Francisco like he probably should have, we wouldn't have that conversation about, oh, who's the heir apparent, because you'd still because Manning because having two quarterbacks on your roster is all but impossible. Having two starting caliber quarterbacks on your roster, because you can't pay one guy 17 or 18 or 20 or 25 million a year and pay another guy 12, 15, 20 million dollars to sit on the bench. Because how many left tackles can you get for 20 million? How many top 5 left tackles can you get for 25 million dollars? How many defensive ends how many corners can you get that are shutdown corners can you get for that kind of money? And so trying to find the next one, trying to find the heir apparent, and going all the way back to Matt Castle, and then it was Matt Castle was the next one, and then Ryan Mallett, and then Jacoby Brissett, and Jimmy Garoppolo, and all of those guys. 2 of those guys are out of the NFL, and 2 of those guys are starting for other teams now. And this idea that there's not going to be an heir apparent for Tom Brady, because Tom Brady can't have an heir apparent.
Right. Same thing with
between the money he makes and the ego he has, and the fact that even if you did bring in, let's say Stidham is still there in 4 years, and he really hasn't gotten any playing. He's done some mop-up duty. He's come in a couple of blowouts to take over, and then you have and he's really an unproven product in his last year of his contract now, and then he moves on. Let's say he has a great preseason in 2023, and he really lights up the league in 2023. He's got a lot, but Brady doesn't want to retire, and Stidham wants to go get a chance to play somewhere. What are you gonna and now you're gonna have to start all over again.
Right.
So I just think that there's just not going to be an era. When it's done, it's all done for 10 or 15 years in New England. It's going to be gone just as quick as it came. It's going to be gone just as quick.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's going to be when the empire does fold or crumble or whatever they want to call it. It will be like that. It'll be an immediate crumble, and it won't be what it is right now. It won't be that way. It's not going to be that way, and it'll take 10 years before the Patriots will be back, if they ever get back to where they are now. But I mean, I guess it's kind of the same situation. But when you said heir apparent, when Peyton Manning left the Colts, I mean, he didn't leave the Colts because it wasn't his choice. I think the Colts, they were looking to go with Andrew Luck. They drafted him, and of course, Andrew Luck, who I still to this day made the best decision of his life. He'd want to go through rehab again. That was the reason
No.
he's not playing. He didn't want to go through that rehab crap again. And he said, you know,
Again.
I'm not doing this.